There comes a moment in history when the world stops, looks itself in the mirror, and realizes something has to change. That moment isn't next year, not someday, not when it's convenient. That moment is now, because the truth is 2026 is not just another year on a calendar, it's a wake-up call. A call to rise. A call to reclaim your power. A call to step into the version of yourself you've been avoiding, postponing, or doubting. And if you ignore this call, life will make decisions for you. But if you answer it, if you rise to meet it, you'll never be the same. Let's talk about what that wake-up call really means. The 2026 wake-up call is not about fear. It's not about panic. It's about awareness. It's about the moment you realize that the world is shifting faster than ever, and you cannot keep living from the same old patterns, routines, and excuses. If you bring the same mindset from the last decade into the next 2 years, you will get left behind by your own potential. Not by the world, by yourself. This is the year when comfort zones collapse, when mediocrity becomes too painful to tolerate, and when possibility knocks on your door louder than ever before. And the truth is, deep down, you already feel it. You feel that push, that whisper, that tiny voice that says, you're meant for more than what you're settling for. That pull that keeps tugging at you at night when the world is quiet, and you can't distract yourself with chaos. That sensation that there is something inside you, sleeping, waiting, ready to break open. The wake-up call doesn't come from the outside. It starts within you. And 2026 is the year that inner voice gets so loud you can't ignore it anymore. This wake-up call is a disruption to your autopilot. It's the moment where you stop scrolling through your life and start scripting it. Where you stop reacting and start creating. Where you stop surviving and start leading. And maybe you've been playing small. Maybe you've been dimming your own fire because it made other people comfortable. Maybe you've been carrying the weight of old failures, old heartbreaks, old doubts. But you need to understand something: the future doesn't care about your past. It only responds to your decisions. 2026 is asking you a question. Are you going to live the next years as a repeat of the last ones? Or are you going to rewrite the entire direction of your life? That's the real call. That's the invitation. Most people think change takes time, but transformation is instant. It happens in the moment you make a new choice, a real choice, a committed choice. Change is slow. Decisions are immediate, and this is the moment where you choose. You choose whether you're going to step into the discomfort that leads to growth or cling to the comfort that leads to regret. And regret is the worst pain because it's the pain you can never undo. Every wake-up call in life comes wrapped in challenge. It comes wrapped in uncertainty. It comes wrapped in disruption. Why? Because comfort never wakes anyone up. Comfort keeps you asleep. Comfort is the silent killer of dreams. And 2026 is not calling you to comfort, it's calling you to expansion. Look around you. Technology is evolving. Careers are changing. Opportunities that didn't exist 5 years ago are exploding today. Invisible doors are opening. But here's the truth: none of those doors matter if you don't walk through them with courage. None of the opportunities matter if you keep talking yourself out of them. None of the breakthroughs matter if you keep repeating the same old story that you're not ready, not worthy, not capable, not enough. You are not waiting for the world to give you a chance. The world is waiting for you to take one. This wake-up call demands that you stop negotiating with your limitations. You've already had enough years of doubting yourself, hesitating, preparing, and planning. This is the year of doing, the year of execution, the year of bold action, the year where you overrule your excuses with discipline. Discipline is the bridge between your intentions and your outcomes. You don't need motivation, you need decisions. You don't need more time, you need commitment. You don't need permission, you need to claim your identity. You are not who you were. You are who you decide to be next. 2026 is asking you, what identity are you going to wear? Are you going to continue wearing the identity of your past mistakes, your old fears, your worn-out limitations? Or will you choose the identity of someone who rises, someone who grows, someone who breaks patterns instead of repeating them? Because every breakthrough requires a breakdown of old habits. Every transformation requires a sacrifice. Every reinvention requires a moment where you say, I am done living beneath my potential. That sentence alone can change your life. Not because of the words, but because of the energy behind them. The wake-up call is not a warning, it's a gift. It's life grabbing you by the shoulders and saying, stand up. You are more powerful than you have shown. There is more inside you than you have allowed the world to see. You don't need a new year to reinvent yourself. You need a new internal standard. Once you raise your standard, your decisions change. Once your decisions change, your habits change. Once your habits change, your reality changes. This call also demands that you stop outsourcing your power. You cannot wait for someone to rescue you. Not the government, not the economy, not luck, not fate. You are not a spectator in your life. You are the author. You are not a follower of circumstance. You are the creator of outcomes. People spend so much time worrying about the future that they forget they are the ones designing it. 2026 will reward the bold, the disciplined, the relentless, the ones who show up even when they don't feel like it, the ones who refuse to be defined by yesterday, the ones who choose progress over perfection, the ones who build habits instead of excuses. Momentum is built from consistency, not intensity. And this year is about momentum. It's about stacking small wins until they become unstoppable force. You cannot rise if you carry everything that weighs you down. This wake-up call demands that you release the version of you that cannot go where you're heading, the overthinker, the procrastinator, the doubter, the worrier, the one who says, maybe later, the one who settles, the one who tolerates what breaks their spirit. You must let that version of you die so the next version can be born. The world is changing fast, but your life can change faster, not gradually, dramatically. The moment you decide to take ownership, the moment you stop blaming circumstances, the moment you stop giving your fears more power than your dreams, the moment you stop negotiating with your potential. The wake-up call is an invitation to rise into your purpose. A purpose that's not optional, a purpose that is wired into you. A purpose that won't leave you alone until you answer it. Purpose doesn't whisper to everyone. It whispers to those who are ready. That's why you're hearing it. That's why you feel the call. Because somewhere inside you, something is awakening. Something is remembering who you are. Your life will not change when the calendar changes. Your life changes when you change. When you get honest with yourself. When you stop pretending you're okay with being average. When you stop lying to yourself about what you truly want. When you stop fearing failure more than you fear regret. The wake-up call is telling you it's time to think bigger, to move faster, to act bolder, to dream wider, to demand more from yourself, to step into arenas you once avoided, to speak truths you once suppressed, to claim opportunities you once believed were out of reach. You are not behind. You are not late. You are right on time for your rebirth. Now is the moment. Now is the decision. Now is the chapter where your story changes. Answer the call. Rise. Transform. Become. You see, every generation has a defining moment where people are forced to look at what they've become and decide whether that's who they want to remain. And 2026 is that moment for you. Not because the world demanded it, but because your soul demanded it. Because you've lived enough years half awake, half engaged, half committed, drifting through routines that numb you more than they inspire you. Deep down, you know you weren't born for autopilot. You were born for aliveness, for intensity, for purpose, for the kind of life that makes you jump out of bed with hunger instead of dragging yourself into the day with resistance. This wake-up call is the moment where you stop being a spectator in your own story, when you stop watching your potential sitting on the sidelines, when you stop waiting for a sign, because the fact that you're still breathing is the sign. The fact that you feel uncomfortable right now is the sign. The fact that something inside you is restless, unsatisfied, unfulfilled, that is the universe shaking you by the shoulders. Because the biggest danger is not failing. The biggest danger is living a life that is so small it never tests your strength. And maybe you've spent years feeling stuck. Stuck in habits that drain you. Stuck in relationships that shrink you. Stuck in fears that freeze you. Stuck in a version of yourself that plays it safe. Because safe is predictable. Safe is familiar. Safe doesn't ask you to change. But safe has never made anyone proud of their life. Safe has built more regret than failure ever will. Because failure gives you lessons, but safety gives you emptiness. You have to understand that every breakthrough you crave already exists in the unknown, not in the familiar, not in the comfortable, not in what you've already mastered, The unknown is where your next level hides. The unknown is where your courage is tested. The unknown is where your purpose expands. And 2026 is demanding that you step into that unknown, not with fear, but with certainty. Not because you have all the answers, but because you trust that you can create answers. Your life cannot upgrade if your identity stays outdated. You can't take 2023 habits into a 2026 destiny. You can't take old narratives into new opportunities. You can't take limiting beliefs into unlimited potential. Something has to shift. Something has to snap. Something inside you must reach its breaking point where you say, I'm done settling. I'm done hesitating. I'm done living small. Because it's not the world holding you back, it's the story you've been telling yourself about why you can't rise. But what if you told a different story? What if your new story said, I am capable, I am ready, I am built for this? What if you made a decision that your past was nothing more than a classroom, not a prison? What if you allowed yourself to believe, truly believe, that everything you desire is already within reach the moment you decide to stop doubting and start doing? The wake-up call is also a reminder that life doesn't reward intentions, it rewards action. You don't get stronger by thinking about lifting weights. You don't get wiser by thinking about reading books. You don't get happier by thinking about changing your life. You become happier when you act even imperfectly. Imperfect action builds momentum. Momentum builds identity. Identity builds reality. And the faster you act, the faster your life transforms. This is why you must stop negotiating with procrastination. Procrastination is the silent assassin of potential. It kills dreams while dressing itself up as logic. It whispers, you're not ready yet. And you believe it. It tells you, tomorrow is a better time, and you fall for it. It convinces you that preparation is progress, when preparation without execution is just disguised avoidance. You don't need more time. You need more courage. Because courage creates clarity. Courage creates movement. Courage creates the future. And I know you've been through things, pain, loss, disappointment, betrayal, failure. And maybe those moments made you pull back. Maybe they made you afraid to try again. But here's the truth, pain didn't come to break you. Pain came to shape you. Pain came to force evolution. Pain came to strengthen the places inside you that comfort would have kept weak. Most people run from pain and then wonder why their life feels so small. But the ones who rise don't run from pain, they use it. They let it sharpen them. They let it fuel them. They let it build resilience that most people never get. This wake-up call is asking you to rewire your relationship with adversity. To understand that struggle isn't a sign of failure. It's a sign of growth. The seed breaks before it grows. The muscle tears before it strengthens. The caterpillar dissolves before it transforms. Every transformation in nature requires destruction. Why would your life be any different? You keep trying to evolve without shedding your old skin. But growth requires release. Becoming your highest self requires letting go of who you were trained to be. You keep waiting for confidence, but confidence comes from evidence. You don't think your way into confidence, you act your way into it. Every time you push through discomfort, you build evidence that you are stronger than you thought. Every time you keep a promise to yourself, you build evidence that you can trust yourself. Every time you rise after falling, you build evidence that resilience is your superpower. Confidence is not a feeling, it's a result. And 2026 is not looking for the most talented, the smartest, the luckiest. It's looking for the ones willing to outgrow their excuses. The ones willing to upgrade their habits. The ones willing to out-discipline their fears. The ones willing to choose growth even when comfort is calling their name. But let me be honest with you, growth requires sacrifice. You will have to let go of people who don't grow with you. You will have to break habits that soothe you but sabotage your future. You will have to silence the inner voice that tells you to stay small. You will have to disappoint others so you can stop disappointing yourself. And that is where true transformation begins, the moment you choose your future over your past. The wake-up call is also a reminder that your environment determines your energy. You can't rise if you surround yourself with people who expect you to stay the same. You can't evolve if you keep engaging in conversations that drain your possibility. You can't thrive if you're living in environments that support your weaknesses over your strengths. The people around you are either your anchors or your rocket fuel. You need to choose wisely. You need people who challenge you, not people who coddle your excuses. You need people who speak to your potential, not your limitations. You must also take radical responsibility for the life you've created so far. Not to blame yourself, but to empower yourself. The moment you accept that you are the source, not the victim, is the moment you take the wheel of your own destiny. Responsibility is not a burden, it's liberation. Because when you realize you created your old life, you also realize you can create a new one. You created your patterns. You created your habits. You created your daily decisions. And if you created them, you can recreate them. This wake up call is also about mastering your state. Your state is your inner world. It's your energy, your focus, your emotions, your physiology. You can't build a powerful life from a powerless state. You can't make bold decisions while living in fear. You can't create momentum when your energy is trapped in anxiety, doubt, or exhaustion. Your state is everything. Change your state, you change your behavior. Change your behavior, you change your outcomes. You must learn to shift your state on command, to breathe differently, to move differently, to speak differently. You must condition your mind to focus on possibility instead of limitation. You must train your nervous system to associate challenge with excitement instead of fear. You must teach your body to step forward instead of freeze. You are not stuck, you are untrained. But training is available now. Discipline is available now. Power is available now. The wake-up call is also a test of your standards. Your life doesn't rise to your goals, it rises to your standards. Goals are fantasies. Standards are identity. You can say you want success, but if your standards tolerate laziness, your goals don't matter. You can say you want better health, but if your standards accept inconsistency, your goals won't save you. You can say you want financial freedom, but if your standards allow excuses, comfort, or emotional spending, nothing changes. Your entire life is shaped by the lowest standard you are willing to accept. Raise your standards, and everything else rises with them. Raise your standards, and you stop tolerating what steals your peace. Raise your standards, and you stop giving energy to what doesn't grow you. Raise your standards, and you stop negotiating with habits that destroy your potential. Your standards are the line between who you are and who you're becoming. And let me tell you something powerful. Your future self is already cheering for you. They're standing on the mountain you haven't climbed yet. They're living the life you keep imagining. They're feeling the fulfillment you crave. They know what you're capable of. They know what you're built for. But they can only exist if you move. They can only exist if you push. They can only exist if you stop shrinking and start expanding. You are not here to survive 2026. You are here to dominate it, to rise beyond your history, to become someone who wakes up with intention instead of dread, someone who walks with purpose instead of confusion, someone who leads their life instead of watching it pass by.